Okay, so basically, I'm going to try to get through this without crying. Um, my name is Stephanie Gwen. I have personally done 2 full rounds of the Faster Way to Fat Loss, and then I joined the VIP group because I loved it so much. So I guess what I will do is kind of start from the beginning. Um, and that's to say that um, I've never been a tiny girl. I've always been a little on the fluffy side, which is kind of ironic because that's what my niece and my nephews call me. It's fluffy. No relation to my weight. Just they couldn't say stuffy at the beginning. So, um, but for me, when I was in high school, I was so thankful that the trend was for girls to wear oversized shirts and guys' shirts because I could hide myself that way. And that's how I started to look at myself in high school. I started to feel self-conscious about myself, about my weight. And then in college, I tried to pretend that it didn't bother me fairly successfully. I don't think anybody knew that I really struggled with it. Um, and by the time that I was best friends with my now husband, I was completely convinced that there was no way he would ever be interested in me because I did not at all look like his past girlfriends. Um, I've always been the sweet, kind, smart, funny one, and that was my place. I wasn't comfortable with myself, but man, could I deliver a one-liner with perfect timing. Um, so, I use that sarcasm a lot as a coping mechanism, as a defense mechanism, just because I was so uncomfortable with myself. And so, fast forward a few years, and still uncomfortable with myself, but that best friend did marry me, baggage and all. And we tried unsuccessfully for about 4 years to have a baby. Um, and I was in a really dark place. Like, I felt like everything was my fault, that I had failed. Um, and the fertility medications were not helping at all. One, they made me crazy. My poor husband had to deal with that. And two, they made my already round body even rounder. Um, and I didn't know what to do. I was lost at this point. So once my husband finished residency, he was at the University of Kentucky for 4 years. We moved from Lexington to just outside of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for his fellowship program. And like I said, by the time this rolled around, I was literally at my heaviest weight that I've ever been, partially due to medications, partially due to I didn't care, um, because I was just not clinically depressed, but um, definitely in a darker place than I'd ever been. Um, and if I'm honest with myself, I didn't like myself. I didn't like the way I looked, but I didn't like myself either. Um, it was just one more thing I had failed at. How did I let this get out of control? How did I let myself get this way? Um, and so I was lost. I was completely lost. I had tried everything, counting calories. I had tried, um, obviously, deprivation diets, prepackaged programs. I tried the crazy 3-day military diet that was popular on Pinterest. Um, and every wellness company there is out there, I've tried it. Um, and sure, I'd lose 10 pounds to start with. And think, yes, this is going somewhere. And then I'd hit a wall. And then that weight would creep back on. And I'd be right where I was again. Um, and I'd feel like a failure again. And so that was the cycle until July of 2018. We had just moved to Florida. I was trying to get my bearings here because we didn't know anybody. It was completely new. We go from living slow-paced Kentucky to right outside Fort Lauderdale in Miami. So it was a huge culture shock for me. Um, and I was just unhappy. And I saw my friend talking on Instagram actually one day. Sorry, I got this. Instagram one day about the faster way to fat loss. She had just had a baby, and she was literally just raving about the program. And I've heard all the sales pitches from everybody, from everything, from every program, but this wasn't a sales pitch. It was literally, she was just genuinely that happy with her results and how she felt. And so it was different than anything that I had seen. So I thought again, why not? I'll give it one more shot. And if it doesn't work, it's nothing new. So I signed up for my first round. And I honestly felt a little overwhelmed when I first got the information. You know, intermittent fasting, huh? Carb cycling, what in the world is that? Counting macros, like what's the cotton picking macro? And I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to figure out, but I was going to put my mind to it and I was going to do it. And surprisingly, for me, it didn't take very long to kind of get the hang of it. I probably by week 3, I was kind of like into it. I was a well-oiled machine. I was planning my dinners. I was tracking my macros. I was drinking my water, which is completely out of the norm for me. I was a sweet tea girl and cheer wine if I could find it. Hailing from North Carolina, cheer wine was my favorite. Whew, cheer wine. I still miss it sometimes. But yeah, drinking water like all the time. And I didn't know exactly how much progress I was making. I just knew that I felt better. My tight 14s were fitting better, probably the way they should have in the first place. And then, you know, I felt stronger. I felt stronger and I felt good about myself and what I was doing. And when I stepped on the scale, I think it was probably week 5, maybe, I had lost 18 pounds. So I'd already way surpassed the whole gimme 10 pounds of water weight that you lose at the beginning of every program. I was almost double that. And I was shocked, to say the least. So by the end of my first round, I had lost 14 and a half inches, and 4 inches of those was from my waist. And I dropped a pant size. So I was tight 14 when I started, and I was a size 12. So that was progress for me. And I was like, yes, I can do this. So I signed up for my second round, went through my second round, did the same, super committed to it. And by the end of my second round, when I stepped on the scale, I literally cried. I sat in my bathroom floor and I cried because I was at 198.3, and I could not tell you when the last time I had seen a 1 at the beginning of my weight. So for me, going from 236 pounds to 198 over the course of 12 weeks, like, or 14 weeks, I guess, I was hooked. Like, I was hooked. I dropped another pant size. You know, I was from a 14 to now a 10. I was in the hundreds, which has not happened since, I'm sure, before college, maybe a little after I started my freshman year. But so I did the next step. I signed up for the VIP membership, and I just kept going. I hit that plateau, and, you know, they helped me adjust my macros, and I just kept going. And so today, I weighed myself today, actually, and I'm at 177.3. I'm wearing a size 8 jean and a medium shirt, and I am for sure in the best shape of my life. And for me, the biggest thing now is that I don't necessarily rely on what the scale says. For so many years, like, I was trapped in what the scale told me. I felt like I was clinging to that number. Like, if I could just get to this number, then I would be happy. If I could just get to this number, I could be happy. But that's not how I am anymore. I want to run my miles faster now. So I've actually dropped 3 minutes from my mile time. So I've gone from 14 and a half minutes, which is basically walking, um, to 11 minutes and 21 seconds average, which is huge for me because I was never a runner. Um, I've upped my weights 3 or 4 times in the gym since I've been working out, which is crazy. I've always been strong, but for me to be able to actually see that progress is huge, huge for me. Um, I'm, I'm sleeping better. I have more energy. I'm happier. Um, not just with me, but in my marriage. Like, I have so much more to give because I don't feel like a failure. Um, and I'm confident in myself. And good gravy, that feels so good to say that I feel confident in myself because I haven't probably since I was in middle school, maybe like sixth grade, I think was the last time that I felt uh, good in what I was wearing, when I felt good in what I was doing. So I don't want to wax poetics, and I don't want to sound incredibly dramatic, but this program has legitimately changed my life, and to the point where I can't go back. I can never go back. I don't want to be that person again. I don't want my husband to have to think that he has to work extra hard to make his wife feel like she's worth something, because I know I am now. I know that I'm a stronger person inside than I ever thought I was, um, and that I can overcome something. I can overcome um, deep struggles that I've had for my entire life. I can overcome that, and I don't have to be weighed down by it, and I don't have to be a slave to it. Um, so the fast way to fat loss has definitely done more for me than just weight loss, and it's something that I don't want to do without. So that's why when the opportunity to become a coach came along, I wanted to do it so badly. I wanted to do it so badly. So I'm so grateful that my husband and I just kind of sat down and figured out a way to do it, because I want other women to feel like this. I want to help all the women out there that feel like me or feel like I did, because I've been there, and I can offer that support, that encouragement now, and that's what the Bible says. We were put on this earth to help those. We were put in situations so that we can help other people in that same situation. So I've learned from this, and I'm ready to go out there, and I'm ready to tackle it, and I'm ready to help someone. I'm ready to help women feel the way that I do. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for this opportunity and this program.